Hello, this is Dr. Lori. Welcome to this second part of interpreting the output from our SPSS analysis. In this video, we'll be looking at interpreting the chi-square. And we'll follow essentially the same basic guidelines, and that is following the hypothesis testing outline. So first of all, we start off with the stating of the null and alternative hypotheses. The null hypothesis, again, could be stated as there is no relationship between exposure to DES and the disease outcome, VCCA, vaginal clear cell adenocarcinoma. If you wanted to state it specifically regarding the chi-square test of independence, you could say something like cases and controls are equally likely to be exposed to DES. The alternative then would be that cases and controls are not equally likely to be exposed to DES. And so then we're looking at this relationship, whether these two variables are independent or if they're related. So we're testing whether DES and VCAA disease are dependent on each other. If we know something about one, do we then know something about the other? Stating the alpha level in general, unless there's a reason to do something different, the typical alpha level is usually 0.05. And then when we performed the test in SPSS, you can see here that this Pearson chi-square, which is the test of independence, the value there is 43.959. And so that value then is converted using the chi-square distribution into a p-value. And notice here, there's our 1 degree of freedom because it's a 2 by 2 table. And our p-value is less than 0.05. So when we compare that p-value with the actual alpha, our p-value is less than alpha. So what that means is that we're going to reject the null hypothesis. Notice that both the 95% confidence interval for the odds ratio and the p-value for the Pearson chi-square came up with the same conclusion. And so even though the math behind them is different, we still came to the same conclusion. And if we were to state those results in plain English, we could either say that there is a relationship between DES and VCCA, or that cases and controls are not equally likely to be exposed to DES. And then finally, thinking about, based on rejecting the null, what kind of error could you have made? And I'll let you think about that one. Thank you for joining me for a quick review on the hypothesis testing process for the chi-square test of independence.